In a rather ponderous vlog yesterday, I said I was going to introduce a piece of the jigsaw puzzle that was going to lead to me becoming doorless, certainly for this odyssey that I'm on. And that thing is the MixPre 10. It's basically an 8-track, I wouldn't say hard disk, I'd say SD recorder, records onto those little camera SDs, 8-ins, brilliant mic pre's if my MixPre 3 is anything to go on. I'll be able to take stems out and be able to mix these stems externally via outboard without the use of a DAW. It's going to be quite a revolutionary thing for me. However, the outputs are these little mini XLR, and I don't have these in stock at the moment, so they're on order to be returned to next week. There is another addition to this week's arsenal, the Boss Chromatic Tuner, the TU3. I was hoping this was going to assist me in getting my pluck, the 2HP, in tune alongside my STO and the Atlantis. It didn't really work, so I've had to do it by ear, but I think I've got there. I know that Sandy has also got one of these 2HP and supports my claim that they are a bastard to tune. But Sandy's got some really exciting stuff going on this week.
Hi Christian, just a quick update, but quite an exciting one this week. I've been taking the modules back out of my rack. The reason being that I needed it to make our box. My buddy Brian, who went touring around Europe, is back now, and we're working on the box again. Where we left off, we had the planks all cut to size and measured. We had the dados all cut into them, and they were all ready to sort of glue together. We had the back part of the box where there's going to be standoffs for the power supply. We'd glued those in place, and then we kind of left that to dry, and then he went on tour. So now that he's back, we took a drive over to his place, which is at the other side of town, where he has this just amazing wood shop underneath his house. I mean, it's just stunning. It's like an Aladdin's cave. So the first thing that we did was we drilled some pilot holes into the standoffs, which is going to hold the power supply, and it's not going to be going anywhere with these nice big chunky wooden standoffs underneath. Gives us something to screw into because the back plate is quite small. Then we put a dark walnut stain on the inside of the box. This isn't actually going to be visible, but it's so that we can get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's finished, and it's very exciting. We did a quick dry fit. You can see us hammering it together there just to make sure it fits. And then we just applied some wood glue and an absolute ton of clamps just to hold it in place whilst it dried. And I'll just do a quick shot of what it looked like. This is actually the dry fit, but this is what it's going to look like once the glue is dry. So you can see how lovely that dark walnut's going to look when it's on the outside. So really I just need to trim off the edges of the box a little bit, sand it off and stain it, and then we're basically good to go. I can start putting modules back in. Besides building boxes this week, I've also been working on the Befako Hex VCA kit that I had last week. It seemed to work straight out the gate absolutely fine, but then once I got to testing some of the more advanced features of it, or some of the more interesting things that it does, I realised that it wasn't quite working right. Fortunately, Befako post all of their schematics on their website, so I was able to go and look at the circuit and kind of work backwards and figure out where the problem lay. And then it was just a case of checking off the points that I'd looked at on the schematic on the thing itself, which was really easy to do. And then I found the problem, fixed the soldering, and it all works perfectly well. So next week, when I'm back in town, I'm going to be looking at the BeastTech Amoeba, which is a algorithmic drum sequencer, so that should be really exciting. And then let me know in the comments if you'd want to see another build, or whether you want to start seeing some deep dives into some of these modules. But for now, back to you, Christian.
Thanks as always, mate, and really look forward to seeing how things develop. So quick rundown of what I'm doing here. We've got the Metropolis running clock to pretty much everyone, and some rhythmic information, but I'll come back to that. But first of all, it's basically triggering this disting, which has a MIDI file inside it, a really long one that I made on my computer, not quite rid of it yet. And this is triggering the plug. So if we run it. Now what I've done is I've softened the attack with this ADSR. It's a great sound. And then I've also applied some delay and some reverb. This is also going into the clouds. which is a lot of fun. So that's kind of voice number one. So the next thing I'm triggering from the Metropolis is this second disting with another MIDI file in it, very long one, which is in turn controlling the Atlantis, which is this kind of self-contained synthesizer that I'm criticised often for having in this rig because it's kind of cheating. But let's just have a listen to that. I whacked some spring on it with the magneto and then some delay. And then this is also feeding to the clouds via this auxiliary up here. So the third voice is the STO by Make Noise super fat oscillator. Now because this isn't a cheaty synth like this one, I've had to put it into a VCA, and the rhythm, the gate information is being provided from Metropolis, but the pitch information is actually coming from MIDI. So let's just run that. Nice, super fat. And here's where it's getting the MIDI from, a somewhat precariously balanced portable keyboard. You'll also hear a filter opening and closing. This is being controlled by some kind of variable voltage from the maths, which is also doing some other shapy bits, just to make the whole thing undulate in an unpredictable manner. The fourth voice is our drums, the DFAM, which again is being controlled via clock from the Metropolis. I would play you it, but I want it to be a surprise. I've also got this going into a Strymon timeline to give it like a little kind of slap back, a slightly kind of 16th feel to what is ostensibly a kick drum and a snare part. Last but not least is my favourite Jupiter 4. You have to be really careful about channel stealing, the way it's kind of, you have to play it if you want to be really precise. But I've also got that going into a Strymon Big Sky. Awesome sound. That gives me the sustain I need so I can run to the other end of the room and switch things on and off. So this patch is a work in progress. I really want to record it into my new SD recorder thingy, and I'd love to mix it properly just using outboard. So that'll be the final phase, which I'll update you on hopefully next week. This, however, is the patch where we're at, so a little kind of taste of performance for you this week. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Thanks as always to Sandy. Hit like if you like what we do. And if you want to be notified the next time we put up a video, hit that little bell button. See you next time.